I guess we're supposed to be shocked by this one. We're supposed to be surprised that by the end of WandaVision, that the ending is going to be incredibly surprising, inevitable, and insane. As long as it's not telling me that they were all in purgatory the entire time, and ignore most of the questions that the series asks because they're terrible writers, yeah, I'll be good with it. The director of WandaVision has been doing interviews and teasing what we can expect from the first season of the series, and specifically how everything concludes. And without officially telling us anything, he did say, and I quote, that the ending is totally inevitable, and that even though we're expecting it, it will be, and I quote, incredibly surprising. Now here's the thing with the whole incredibly surprising yet totally inevitable thing. I've seen some people say, well, that's not good. If we kind of know what's coming, then that takes the surprise and shock out of it. Again, I think most of us went into the likes of Avengers Infinity War and Endgame knowing that not everybody was going to walk away. Many of us even said, yeah, it's probably going to be Tony Stark that dies. We were ready for it. It still happened. It was inevitable that somebody was going to die. We were still heartbroken. Just because you might know the ending or expect the ending or some version of the ending doesn't mean that it takes all of it away, right? That's not a thing. Now here's a full quote that he had, and I quote, "I think it's important for every successful movie or TV show to feel when you get to the end that it is the ending. It's incredibly surprising, but also totally inevitable. If you don't do that, I don't think you've told the story well." And I think that's exactly what we're trying to do. That when you get to the end, you are like, wow, but then you go, ah. So it is one of those things where I think if you throw everybody for a loop and the ending doesn't really make sense and it sort of comes out of nowhere, it's terrible because you didn't telegraph it, right? And we need to have some sort of expectation that we think we know where it's going and it can't come out of left field. So if you rewatch the series, you see the pieces fall into place. Again, at the beginning, I mentioned a show that doesn't do that. Lost, for example, on ABC. That show built up so much and so much mystery and so many things that they had to pay off. By the time it got to the ending, I watched that and I felt disappointed like many people, because they completely shifted ways in which they were telling the story and what they were trying to build up and what they were explaining, that it didn't even make sense in the end because they didn't know what the ending actually was, and they never expected to and wanted to go upon and touch upon some of those mysteries. You can't do that. With WandaVision, if we as audiences sort of know where it's going to end and how it has to end, but how we get there and some of the twists and turns along the way, that's the story. So again, we knew what was going to happen at the end of Endgame. We sort of had an idea, but it's the journey to get there that made it worth it. Like, are you really going to be surprised when we get to the end of WandaVision and Vision is dead? We literally saw Thanos reach into his forehead and rip technically his brain out. Yeah, he's pretty much gone. There's a backup of him in Wakanda, sure, but Vision's dead. Can you imagine being surprised by that?